surface. If the surface is very, very hard, that you cannot polish it properly. That is why granites are polished only in the industries. Once they come to home, after you lay it in the home, those granite tiles, you cannot polish them because they are very hard material. But whereas whatever these ordinary tandoor or any other this kadpa stones, those can be polished after a long period of use. Suppose there are any scratches in your home, you can polish them and you can get the better glazed surface. So polishing is also very important, even in case of this polishing and grinding. When you want to grind any tool, means when you want to sharpen the tool, there what happens? If the tool wears, then only the tool can be sharpened. When you hold the tool against the grinding wheel, at that time the tool surface is wearing. The surface of the tool gets weared and the tool becomes sharp. Okay? Even in case of machining, there also what happens in machining also, suppose you are using a surface grinder or any other, there also chips are removed. Chips are nothing but what? They are wear particles only, but little larger in size. Those are removed, then only you can able to do the machining process. So in all these cases, wear is very important. Okay? Previously you've seen that friction is also very important in case of brakes, clutches, bolts and nuts, and even when the wheels are driving wheels on the road, there also the friction is very important. And in the cases of writing on it with the help of a chalk on a blackboard, writing with the help of a pencil on the paper, or polishing or machining and shaving, there also wear is very important, and wear is useful in all these cases. But whereas friction and wear also unproductive, or they are also unproductive also. Okay, in some cases what happens, friction and wear takes place in unproductive manner in case of engines. In engines what happens, so many moving parts are there. For example, suppose the piston is sliding inside the cylinder, and when the bearings the shaft is, or the pin is sliding inside the bearing, in those cases what happens, if the friction is very high, then lot of power will be consumed to overcome that friction. So there the friction is not useful, it is harmful actually. And even wear and tear, and whenever there is a wear and tear of this this cylinder inside a cylinder liner or the piston surface, there what happens, the gap between the piston and the cylinder increases. Due to that what happens, there is a possibility of leakage of gases from the combustion chamber into the crankcase. So there also what happens, the wear is not important. In those cases, wear is actually harmful. And even suppose the shaft wears in the bearing, there what happens, the shaft will start vibrating in the bearing because of large gap between the shaft and the bearing. So if the clearance gets larger, then what happens, the shaft will not properly fit inside the bearing, and there is a possibility of vibrations. And whenever there is a possibility of vibration, you will not get the accurate motion or accurate finished surface. Suppose you are using it in any tools, in the tools, if the shaft wears, then vibration of the shaft will causes will not produce the smooth surfaces, will causes rough surfaces, rough surface finish will be there. Okay, these are the cases in which the friction and wear are harmful. Okay, then let us next move on to the lubricants. Okay, what is a lubricant actually? So first let us study about lubrication. Lubrication is the use of a substance to provide smoothness to the movement of interfacing surfaces to the machine elements having relative motion. Means what? Whenever any machine elements are having relative motion, in order to make the movement of those interfacing surfaces smoother, we are required to do lubrication. So there, lubrication is the use of any substance. Lubrication is the use of any substance, it may be a oil or grease or any substance, to provide smoothness to the movement of interfacing surfaces of the machine elements having relative motion. Whatever the substance that we use, no, that substance used is called as lubricant. That is, for example, suppose you are using oil in between the two surfaces, or suppose you may be using grease in between the two surfaces, or you may be using a solid lubricants like graphite or any talc powder. For example, we use, no, in carom board, we use talc powder. There what happens, the striker will move smoothly on the carom board. So that is a solid lubricant. That talc powder is a solid lubricant. So those are the lubricants. Means lubricant is a substance which is used to achieve lubrication, or lubricant is a substance which is used in between the two interacting surfaces in order to achieve lubrication, or in order to reduce friction and wear and tear of the surface. So reduction in friction and wear of interfaces is commonly achieved by the use of lubricants. Okay. Then let us study about different types of lubricants. So lubricants may be liquid lubricants, semi-solid lubricants, solid lubricants, or gases. So liquid lubricants means the ordinary oils which we are using, that animal oil, vegetable oil, or mineral oils. Okay? That engine oil what we use, no, in engines, those all are becomes under liquid lubricants. They may be mineral oils or they may be vegetable oils. Then semi-solid lubricant. Semi-solid lubricant means greases. So semi-solid lubricant means it is nothing but greases. Greases are manufactured by adding some solid substance to the liquid lubricants. The liquid lubricants are there, no, these mineral oils or vegetable oils. To the liquid lubricants, they will add some amount of solid particles or solid material, that is solid powder, in order to make them semi-solid. Okay, semi-solid means in the form of paste. Okay, those are greases. And then solids. Solids are the solid lubricants are talc and graphite, etc. Okay, here talc is, you know that talc is used in carom board. Okay, in carom board we will spill some talc powder, no, talcum powder. That talcum powder will be spilled on the carom board so that the striker will move smoothly and all the coins will move smoothly on the board. Okay, that is solid lubricant. And even in some cases graphite is used as a solid lubricant where the high temperature applications are there. So you take your pencil, this scratch it or rub it on the floor, then you slide your finger on that, you can see that there is a smooth sliding. Why? Because that graphite is a solid lubricant and it will reduces the friction and wear. Okay. Then gases. Gases, in some cases gases are also used as lubricants. So in gas lubricated bearings which are used in food and textile processing machinery. So in food and textile processing machinery, what happens? Suppose in food machineries, food processing machineries, like this MTR food processing is, and so many other are there, no, those this chips and all those things. In those cases, what happens? Suppose we are using any oil or any grease, there is a possibility that the oil or grease may spill in that food and it may deteriorate that food or it may destroy that food, and that oil, the smell of the oil or that grease may get embedded into the food, which may become useless and that food cannot be eaten. And even in case of textile processing machinery, there textile means what? So many cloth processing machinery. In cloth processing machinery, suppose we use oil or greases as the lubricant, there is a possibility that the oil may spill on the cloths and the cloth may get cloth will be cannot be used again, that cloth, because oil will be spilled on the cloth and the cloth will get destroyed, and so many stains will be there, stain of the oil will be there on the cloth, so nobody will buy that cloth. Okay. That is why in textile processing machinery and in food processing machinery, instead of using a liquid lubricant or semi-solid lubricant, they go for gas lubricated bearings. So that gas lubricated bearings means the gas will be flowing continuously inside the bearing and the gas will escape. The gas will not spill on the food material, or it will not spill on the textile or on the cloths. So other functions of the lubricants. Okay. In addition to lubrication, lubricants perform several other functions. They act as a coolant by carrying away heat generated in the bearing. Okay. So lubricate, whatever the lubricants are there, no, the oil lubricant, its function is not only to reduce the friction and wear. Along with that, when the lubricant is continuously flowing in the bearing, it will absorb heat from that bearing parts, heat from the shaft and bearing. Whatever the heat produced due to friction between the shaft and the bearing, that heat will be absorbed by the lubricant. And when the lubricant is flowing outside, it will carry away that heat. And when it comes outside, the lubricant gets cooled and again it is recirculated and it will again carry away the heat from the bearings. So this is one more function of the lubricant or lubricating oil. Otherwise, what happens if the heat is not removed from the bearing, then there is accumulation of the heat in the bearing, and due to the accumulation of the heat, the bearing may get seized, or the shaft may get seized in the bearing. The shaft may not rotate in the bearing, because you know that the solid expands when heated. So shaft will also expand and the bearing will also expand. Due to that, what happens? The clearance between the shaft and the bearing reduces. And when there is a reduction in the clearance, and also when there is a increase in temperature, the viscosity of the lubricating oil also goes on decreasing. And when the viscosity of lubricating oil goes on decreasing, and when the clearance between the shaft and the bearing goes on decreasing, there is a possibility that the shaft may get seized inside the bearings or stuck inside the bearing. The shaft may not rotate freely inside the bearing. That is what we call it as seizure of the bearing. And also one more function carried away by this lubricant is that it will protect the surface of the bearings against corrosion. When the lubricant oil is present on the bearing surface and on the shaft surface, what happens? It will prevent the oxidation of the shaft and bearing material because of oxygen present in the air. Whatever the oxygen present in the air, it will readily react with the metals, these steels, shaft and bearings, and it may corrode the surface of the shaft and bearing. And when there is a lubricating oil present, that lubricating oil will be completely covering or making a film on the bearing and the shaft. Due to that, what happens? It will prevent or protect the surface of the shaft and bearing against corrosion. This is one more function carried away by lubricant. And another function is that flushing away of contaminants. And whenever there is a operation of the bearing, there small pieces of wear particles of the shaft and the bearings will be there. And those wear particles, if they remain inside the bearing and shaft itself, they will damage the surface of the shaft and bearing. So when the lubricating oil is continuously flowing, it will carry away those small particles present, wear particles present in the bearing, between the bearing and the shaft surface, and they will flush those contaminants. If any dirt is there or any contaminants are there, or if any wear particles are there, when the fluid is continuously flowing, that lubricant oil is continuously flowing, it will carry away those small particles, contaminant particles, so that it will protect the surface of the bearing and the shaft. Otherwise, if the wear particles will remain there only, what happens? They will produce scratches on the bearing and shaft surfaces. So the smooth surface of the bearing and shaft may get disturbed or destroyed. So this is the one more function of the lubricant, that is flushing away the contaminants. And also one more function of the lubricant is that to provide a damping effects. Damping means what? You know, oil damped, the shock absorbers which we are using, no, in your bikes or in cars, they are oil damped shock absorber, no. There the oil will be filled inside the shock absorber, and when the this shock absorber try to vibrate, the oil will apply the resistance, so that oil will not allow the shaft to vibrate continuously. So the shaft will vibrate slowly, and there will be a damping effect. That is why oil damping is very important. And even in case of bearings and shaft, when the oil is present between the bearing and the shaft, the oil will make the shaft to float inside the bearing. Means it will not allow the shaft to come in contact with the bearing. Due to that, what happens? Whatever the vibrations produced in the shaft, those will be absorbed by the oil present between the bearing and the shaft, thereby providing the damping effect. And hence it will reduces the noise between the shaft and the bearing, and also it will act as a sealant. Okay. This, when the oil is continuously present at a high pressure inside the bearing and the shaft, it will oil act like a sealant. Okay. For example, suppose this piston is reciprocating inside the cylinder, and when the oil film is present between the piston and the cylinder, it will not allow the hot gases to pass through from the combustion chamber into the crankcase. So oil will act as a sealant in that case. Then let us discuss about different requirements of an oil lubricant. Means what are the properties of a ideal lubricant, that we will be discussing. Okay. For example, first one is the viscosity. So viscosity is the very important property of any lubricant. If there is any some amount of viscosity, then only that oil can be used as a lubricant. So viscosity is a very important property of the lubricant, desirable property of the lubricant. Viscosity should not be too high also and too low also. If the viscosity is too high, then what happens? It will produces resistance to its own flow. And when the viscosity is too high, the resistance to the flow of the lubricant will produces will require more pumping power to pump that lubricant, and so more amount of power will be wasted. And also when the lubricant is present between the this bearing and the shaft, that high viscosity lubricant will not flow easily. And when it will not flow easily, then what happens? The fluid friction between the shaft and the bearing increases, which may consume more amount of power. Then next one is thermal stability. The lubricating oil which we are using should have thermal stability. Thermal stability means what? With change in temperature, its properties should not change drastically. We know that when there is a rise in temperature, the viscosity of the lubricating oil decreases. And if it is not thermally stable, then what happens? With a small rise in temperature, there will be very large decrease in the viscosity, which may create problem. Okay. That is why if the lubricant is thermally stable, then the properties of the lubricant will not change easily with the change in temperature. That is called as thermal stability. Then chemical stability. Chemical stability means what? If there is any chemical which is reacting, which is coming, when any lubricating oil comes in contact with any chemical, it should not readily react with that chemical. If it readily reacts with that chemical, what happens? The property of the lubricating oil changes. The lubricating oil, composition of the lubricating oil changes because of chemical reaction. Their chemical composition goes on changing, and when there is a change in the chemical composition of lubricating oil, its properties also goes on changing, and the lubricating oil may no longer be used as a lubricant, or it may no longer will carry out its functions properly. That is why chemical stability is also important. The next one is compatibility. How much compatible it is between the shaft material and the bearing material, because we know that shaft material is different and bearing material is different. Usually in general bearings, the shaft will be made of mild steel, and whereas the bearings are made of brass or bronze or this bell metal or gun metal. Hence, whatever the lubricating oil we are using should be compatible with both the materials. It should be compatible with steel also, and it should be compatible. Compatible means what? Suitable. Suitability. It should be suitable with the steel also, and it should be suitable with the brass or bronze material which is used as a bearing material. Then corrosion resistance. The lubricating oil which we use should have good corrosion resistance, means it should prevent the surface of bearing or the shaft getting corroded. So that is why the corrosion resistance of the lubricating oil is also very important. Then next one is thermal conductivity. Thermal conductivity means transfer of heat from one part to another part. If the thermal conductivity of the lubricating oil is good, then what happens? It will absorb the heat when it is flowing through the bearing and the shaft. It will absorb heat very quickly at a very faster rate, continuously. So due to that, what happens? There will be proper cooling of the bearing and the shaft. So thermal conductivity of the lubricating oil is also very important. The next one is heat capacity. Heat capacity means how much amount of heat that lubricating oil, 1 ml of lubricating oil can hold. That is called as heat capacity. Okay. So suppose the lubricating oil is flowing in the bearing, between the bearing and the shaft. There what happens? Whatever the heat produced in the bearing and the shaft, that has to be absorbed by the lubricating oil. If the heat capacity of the lubricating oil is better or very high, then what happens? That lubricating oil can absorb more amount of heat when it is flowing. Okay, so more amount of heat it can absorb, so better cooling of the bearing and the shaft will result. Okay. The next one, non-flammability. Okay. When the lubricating oil is used inside the engine or anything, in engine what happens? We know that always the engine is in hot condition. Due to that, the flames will be these gases or the volatility. Due to the volatility of the lubricating oil, the fumes will be formed, and those fumes of the lubricating oil should not catch fire immediately. So they should be non-flammable. If they catches fire, then they may damage the engine parts. So that is why the lubricating oil used should be non-flammable. Then non-toxicity. This means it should be non-poisonous. Whatever the lubricating oil we are using, it should be non-poisonous, because otherwise what happens when we are using lubricating oil in the engine? Always small amount of lubricating oil is getting burnt, and those fumes of that lubricating oil will combine with the exhaust gases of the this engine, and they will be going out. If they are poisonous, then what happens? Whatever the smoke coming out from the engine will be poisonous in nature, and the people or the person who will inhale that smoke, then it may cause health issues to that person. Okay, that is why it should be, the lubricating oil should be non-toxic. Okay. The next one, let us discuss about types of lubricants. The basic function of lubricant is to minimize friction and wear. In the early days of civilization, vegetable oil or animal fats were used as lubricants. Okay. In the early days, which are the oils which are readily available? It is vegetable oil and animal fats which are readily available in nature as a natural resource. Those were used as the lubricants in the olden days. But nowadays, because of improvement in the technology, they are using different types of oils which are having better properties of as a lubricant. Okay, what are the different types of lubricants that we'll study? First one is about oil lubricants. What are the different oil lubricants available? Okay, Any liquid having some amount of viscosity can be regarded as lubricant. You take any liquid, if that liquid is having some amount of viscosity, means that oiliness. Viscosity is nothing but one type of oiliness. If that liquid is having some amount of viscosity, then that liquid can be used as a lubricant. At the same time, it should be as mobile as possible to remove the heat. That is, at the same time, it should be as mobile, means it should be flowing freely. It should be free flow type. Then only what happens, when it will flow freely inside the bearing and the shaft, it will carry away the heat from that bearing and the shaft. And to avoid power loss due to viscous drag, if it can easily flow, then what happens, viscosity due to that viscous drag, more pumping power will be needed. And if it is freely flowing, then with a less pumping power, it can be pumped. That lubricating oil can be pumped. And it should be stable under thermal and oxidation stresses. This we have already discussed. Thermal stresses means what? It should be stable under thermal stresses. Means at high temperatures also, when there is a change in temperature, its properties should not change. Then oxidation stresses. Oxidation means, again I told no, corrosion resistance and chemical stability. Since it should not readily react with the oxygen present in the air. If it reacts with oxygen present in the air, what happens? The property of the lubricating oil gets destroyed or deteriorated. And when the property of lubricating oil gets deteriorated, it can no longer be used as a lubricant. And it should have low volatility. This is very important, because when we are using in IC engines, there what happens, you know that, or in any machines, their high temperatures are prevailing. When the high temperatures are prevailing, if it is very high volatile, if the lubricating oil is having very high volatility, it will evaporate and form the fumes. And when it goes on evaporating, whatever the fumes are formed, those fumes will readily burn and they may damage the engine parts. One thing. Another thing is that you know that lubricating oil is very costlier. 1 liter of lubricating oil will be costing about 250-300 rupees. You know that when you are changing your bike oil, it is about 300 rupees per liter. And if that lubricating oil is very high volatile, then what happens? It will evaporate and it will form the fumes, and those fumes will combine with the inlet charge, fresh charge in the engine, and they will burn. No doubt that the power is produced with that lubricating oil, also some amount of power will be produced and they will burn. But the lubricating oil is 300 rupees per liter, whereas the petrol is about 80 rupees per liter. If you burn petrol and produce power, then it is good. If you burn lubricating oil and produce power, then it is a huge loss. No? That is why lubricating oil should have low volatility. And it should have good mechanical stability. Under the action of the load, the lubricating oil properties should not change. Means whenever there is a compressive load on the lubricating oil, then its properties should not change. This is about oil lubricants. In the oil lubricants, there are different types are there. That is natural organics. Natural organics means what? The oils which are available naturally. Oil which are not synthesized, which are all available naturally. For example, mineral oils are there. Mineral oil is what? Mineral oil is available naturally due to fractional distillation of crude oil. When the crude oil is distilled fractionally, there what happens? So many products get separated. You will get petrol from that crude oil. You will get diesel from that crude oil. You will get this kerosene from the crude oil. You will get those naphthalene balls from the crude oil. You will get that tar, which is used to make roads. That tar also as the byproduct. Along with that, mineral oil will also come as a byproduct when we fractionally distillate the crude oil. That mineral oil can be used directly as the lubricant after refining it, or after processing it. That mineral oil can be used as a lubricant. Whatever 2T oil or 40 oil what we use no on bikes, those are nothing but mineral oils only. Then animal and vegetable mineral oils can be used up to a temperature of 200 degrees Celsius. operating temperature can be up to 200 degrees Celsius, then only mineral oils can be used. And animal and vegetable oils. Vegetable oil means, you know, nothing but it is that castor oil comes from that red color oil. That is nothing but vegetable oil only. And even this dalda, those all are vegetable oil. And animal oils. Animal oils means so many animal fats which are used, you know, in after when the cattle dies. That animal, the fat of that cattle can be taken as a oil, but it is very rarely used. In the olden days, when mineral oils and vegetable oils were not available, they were using animal oil, because animal oil was freely available and it was a cheaper cost. But those oils can be used only up to 120 degrees Celsius operating temperature. We cannot, if the operating temperature is more than 120 degrees Celsius, we cannot use animal oils and vegetable oils. Okay. So natural organics includes animal fat, vegetable oil, mineral oil, etc. Animal fats are naturally occurring esters formed by the combination of long chain organic acids with alcohol. So castor oil means castor, you know, odal visa. That is castor oil. Odal visa the eಣ್ಣೆ ಅಂತ ತೆಗಿತಾರಲ್ಲ, that is called as castor oil. And rapeseed oil, etc. belong to vegetable oils. These have low oxidation and thermal stability than mineral oils. In short, these animal oils and vegetables have low oxidation and thermal stability compared to mineral oils. So mineral oils are better than animal oils and vegetable oils. And they also have a tendency to break down to give sticky deposits. So this the long chains of fatty acids of this animal and vegetable oils will break down to give sticky deposits on the surface of the shaft and bearing. They can be obtained with a range of viscosities. The viscosity of animal and vegetable oil can be obtained with a very high range. Okay, means different values of viscosity can be obtained. Okay. They contain mainly three types of hydrocarbons, that is paraffins, naphthenes, and aromatics. Then mineral oils. Mineral oils can be used up to a maximum temperature of 200 degrees Celsius, whereas animal and vegetable oils can be used up to a maximum of only 120 degrees Celsius. Then this is about natural organics. The next one is synthetic organics. So synthetic organics means again okay, synthetic organics. Synthetic organics means what? These are synthesized in the factory. These oils are not readily available, but these oils are produced in or manufactured in the factories. Okay. So these lubricants can be used at extreme temperatures, pressure, and humidity. Okay. When they are manufactured, they can be used at a very high temperature, pressures, and humidity. These can be used up to a maximum temperature of 400 degrees Celsius. Synthetic organics or synthetic oils can be used up to a maximum temperature of 400 degrees Celsius. I think when changing the oil in the market, suppose you go and buy the oil, they will be writing synthetic oil on that bottle. So synthetic oil means it is the oil which is manufactured and it is customized based on the requirement. So that is why it can be used up to a temperature of 400 degrees Celsius. Examples are synthetic hydrocarbons, diesters, chlorofluorocarbon, fatty acid esters, polyglycoether, fluoroether ester, polyphenyl ether, etc. Synthetic lubricants can be prepared to optimize their viscosity. Temperature, stability. Okay, so whatever the viscosity temperature relationship is there, no, means with change in temperature or whatever the change in viscosity is there, that can be properly controlled in case of synthetic lubricants. Means what? For a even large change in temperature, there will be very less change in the viscosity in case of synthetic lubricants. And even the synthetic lubricants are having very less volatility. They will not evaporate easily at high temperatures. Synthetic lubricants are suitable for high temperature. That is why they are suitable for high temperature applications and high vacuum and chemical resistance applications. They can be used up to a temperature of 400 degrees Celsius. Okay, this is about synthetic organics. The next one is greases. Grease, I think you might have seen this. Grease is in the form of paste, no? Greases are oils that are thickened with solids to form semi-solid products. Okay. What are greases? Greases are nothing but they are oil only. They are lubricating oil which are thickened with by adding solid. By adding solid particles or solid powder, they will be formed in the form of paste or semi-solid products. The type of thickener determines the characteristic of grease. What type of thickeners we are using, it determines the characteristic of the grease. If the thickener is of very good quality and very costlier, then you will get good quality grease. Greases are used in cases where the application of continuous supply of lubricant is not needed, or there is no sufficiently tight enclosure to retain a liquid lubricant. Okay. Where the greases are used where continuous supply of lubricating oil is not needed. If the continuous supply of lubricating oil is needed, then we need an external pump to pump that lubricating oil, so that again that lubricating system will become complicated. Suppose if you don't need continuous supply of grease lubricating oil, there we can go for greases. For example, in bearings, in ball bearings, what we do in your bike bearings and in your fan bearings of the fan, there also we will be using greases, because continuously we cannot supply the oil, we cannot oil it. So once while manufacturing, what they will do, they will fill that bearing with the help of grease and enclose it properly. Then it can be used for so many years, long period of time. Okay. And also, suppose the fan, you can see that it is in vertical, no? And the bearing is also vertical. And when the bearing is also vertical, if you are using a lubricating oil, there is a possibility that the lubricating oil may come out by flowing out. Okay. Whereas the grease, which is in the form of a semi-solid, if the tight enclosure is not there, then we can go for grease, because grease will not readily flow. It will get sticked there in the bearing. Hence, greases are commonly used in rolling element bearing, that is in your roller bearings and ball bearings. The greases are used as lubricant. Means in cycle bearings and also in motorcycle bearings and even in car wheel bearings. There also wheel bearings of the cars and trucks, there also they'll be using greases as the lubricant, because the lubrication arrangement is very simple. It's very simple. Just what you have to do, just apply the grease in the bearing and cover it with the help of suitable cover. But the use of grease is limited as they do not flow easily. This is the problem. They cannot flow easily, no? Due to that, the use of grease is limited and cannot carry away the heat generated at high speed operations. So that is why in the high speed operation of the bearing, what happens? Definitely the heat will be produced due to friction, and that heat cannot be carried away by grease, because the grease will always remain there only in the bearing. It will not be flowing continuously. Whereas the lubricating oil will be continuously flowing, so that it can absorb more amount of heat. Then consistency of grease is a measure of the hardness or softness of the grease. Okay. If the grease remains in the form of hard paste only, even after a long period of use, then we can tell that the grease is more consistent. Okay. Then drop point of the grease is the temperature at which the grease melts. The temperature at which the grease melts and become oil, that temperature we call it as drop point temperature. Then lubricating oil is the largest single constituent of grease. Means in the grease, the lubricating oil is the one which is having very high composition. That is about 65 to 95% of lubricating oil will be there. Remaining will be a solid powder to make it semi-solid, and controls the frictional characteristics of greases. So which lubricating oil you are using, based on that, it will control the frictional characteristics. The overall performance of a grease is largely affected by the oil viscosity property, oxidation resistance, volatility, compatibility of oil, etc. Okay. The performance of the grease is largely affected by the property of the oil itself. That is the viscosity of the oil, oxidation resistance of the oil, the volatility of the oil, and compatibility of the oil. All these are very important properties to measure the property of the grease. Most greases used have mineral oils as their liquid base. So mineral oil is the common liquid base used in greases, and when it can be used up to a 175 degrees Celsius. That grease, which if suppose the grease contain mineral oil as the liquid base, then that grease can be used up to a maximum temperature of 175 degrees Celsius, depending on their thickener. Whereas the synthetic oil-based greases can be used up to a high temperatures of up to 300 degrees Celsius. Silicon-based greases thickened with amidine and silica can be used at a temperature up to 300 degrees Celsius.